have two insane updates regarding the Venezuelan unlawful shipping of migrants to a El Salvadoran torture camp. And Judge Boasberg finally issued an order, but that's not what's the most outrageous of this update. I also have an update about a case last week where Judge Ted Chang told the Trump administration that their dismantling of USAID was likely unconstitutional and unlawful and banned all DOJ people from putting their fingerprints on it. So DOJ tried it on something. I'm going to tell you that thing, that's second, because you're going to first want to hear the Judge Boasberg update, which is insane. But let me first catch you up to speed. For those of you who don't know, last Saturday or 2 Saturdays ago, Donald Trump decided to execute an old wartime law called the Alien Enemies Act as a means of rounding up Latino men, women, and I guess like young, not children, but young men and women, and shipping them off to a torture camp in El Salvador. Marco Rubio had negotiated a deal where the El Salvadoran president was like, yes, send them to our torture camp. We'll take them. 5 detainees that said they are not gang members, but knew they were subject to be shipped off. ACLU representative ran to the judge. The judge at 5 o'clock had a hearing p.m. 2 Saturdays ago, March 15th, and told the Trump administration during that hearing, do not leave custody. Whether they're in the plane, in the sky, don't hand over those people, send them back. Because even though these 5 people applied, I'm going to open up the class to anyone who's subject to that law. Now let's look at the law specifically. This is really important. The class of people that's included. This is very important. Listen. So really quickly, the law is regarding this gang called the Tren de Aragua, TDA for short. It's a Venezuelan gang. Donald Trump says it's a foreign terrorist organization. He made an example of them because a couple of kids were killed by this gang. So it is a heinous, horrible gang, yes. Of Venezuelan descent. They're terrorizing some portions of the country. Yes, no one doubts that. If they're doing those things, they need to go, right? We're all on the same page with it. However, it's the way you do these things. So it turns out, but before I get to the truth of who was on that plane, let me tell you that Judge Boasberg's order, he didn't do what we want him to do. Like, we want him to round up Marco Rubio, Pam Bondi, Stephen Miller, Tom Horman, like send them all to jail. Donald Trump's untouchable. Those other folks, they are blatantly violating the law. They have to go, right? Instead, he says, I'm going to deny you your motion to vacate, which means cancel this order, but I'm going to issue a stern order. Here's a stern order. The judge says that he did hint to say y'all knew at 10 a.m. that by my time y'all going to do this. So when I had my order at 5 o'clock, the hearing at 5:22, when I said if there's any flights that's about to set off, to let me know now, y'all knew when y'all sent that lawyer who says he didn't know what he was doing, that y'all had already set up ready to send these people off. They had already planned it. So he didn't issue that in this order. He also said that the Trump administration tried to say that courts lack jurisdiction, like the president should be allowed to, protect the homeland as commander-in-chief, is to do all these sort of stuff, and that's outside of jurisdiction of courts. However, the laws that they cited, the judge says do not apply because there's another thing called Administrative Procedure Act, which maintains, and the Supreme Court is also upheld this, said the judiciary can interpret whether the executive is applying the law properly. When he applies that law to the way the Trump administration do it, he says it doesn't work. First of all, it's for wartime law. The last time it was used during World War II, it was used in the War of 1812 and World War I. And when it was used in World War II after the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, he said even then, Teddy Roosevelt still gave due process to the people that he was going to use the law on. Donald Trump and them denied all these people due process. The 5 men who ACLU represented their issues said that we're not gang members. We're not members of them. They deserve the right to say that we do not fall in the class of the Tren de Agua. If you're shipping me to a torture prison pursuant to that law, you need to let me prove that I'm a member of that, or at least defend myself from your accusation. So they said they have to do that. The judge says, I'm going to open up the class to not just these 5 men, because I'm not sure. And so he opened up the class. He says, don't send anyone who you suspect is that gang member until you can let the people make sure they prove that they really are a Venezuelan gang member. That's all I'm asking. And he says that he mentioned all the facts of the case, and he says that the law gives me the authority to do this, and based on that, it doesn't look like you have the authority to do this. But even if you did, these people have the right to a temporary protection order, because they're not asking to be released into the thing. They're saying they don't want to go to that torture camp. And he says the case that I did, my temporary restraining order, and the one I'm doing now, this order is not stopping you from detaining these people. You can still keep them. It's not stopping you from continue to find undocumented people, from doing your job, rounding off people. And if there's anyone that you're sending off who's subject to removal based on another portion of the INA, Immigration and Nationality Act, do that. But as to this law, I don't think you can do that. And at minimum, you need to give these people the right to defend themselves, because there's plenty of evidence on the record that a lot of these people weren't part of it. You yourself said 172 people that were sent to a El Salvadoran prison had non-criminal things. Like they had asylum applications, and because they're Latino, because they have a tattoo, you decided that they to go. You said only 32 were criminal. So you've already said yourself and agreed that some of these people don't fall in that class. If they are non-criminal, why are you shipping them off pursuant to law for them being gang members when they're not even criminal? So you haven't even proven them doing anything. So he then says he continues the case. He denies it as to them. They've promptly appealed, and they continue to the 31st. To which case, people who've come to me and said, you know what, JJ, this Judge Boasberg isn't really flexing no muscles so long as he ain't throwing them in jail, because they're playing in his face. And I was like, fair. ACLU has a back. If you support ACLU, you support this work, ACLU was not playing. ACLU saw that order, ran to the court and said, hold up. They're playing in your face. We have evidence. ACLU is like, no, that's not good enough. You can't wait till 31st. Them people over there, they got to come back. You have to order the Trump administration to come back. Here are reasons. Reason number one, they put 2 declarations on the docket. One declaration was from a woman. She said, she's a woman who was one of 10 women who got returned because the Venezuelan president was like, I ain't taking women to my male prison. What are y'all doing? The woman says that she overheard conversations before they took off of people saying, there's a judge's order, we don't think we can take off. So while that's hearsay, she's swearing on the oath that's what she heard. It is hearsay, but that's compounded by the fact that what the judge said is that there's more evidence. I'm gonna talk about that. So she says no. She also says that she was one of many women, and they were told she had an asylum application, which is like, she's not a gang member. She's there on asylum. That means they probably didn't have any information to say that she was in a gang. The class of that law is for Venezuelan gang members. This woman is claiming asylum. She said, we went to this place, we were removed. The judge sent us back, and I'm back here. The second declarant was someone who says, I'm from Nicaragua. The law is for Venezuelan gang members. You got somebody from Nicaragua. And the person says that they told me I was going back to my country. They lied and told this guy he was going back to Nicaragua. He said, then we went to one place, which they remember it was one plane went to Honduras, and then it went back to El Salvador. And he says that, with a bunch of us, we got turned back because I'm from Nicaragua. They knew that man was from Nicaragua, or they didn't even care. That's why it's important to do individual due process. You can't just sum up people because they're Latino and they have tattoos. Then there's more. Donald Trump and Marco Rubio retweeted or reshared on Truth Social. The president of El Salvador shared a video of the men coming off the tarmac, and as you can see on the tail, the number of the plane, and you can see the time. That means they were in U.S. custody, and this happened after 7:25. So when they knew the judge's order was 7:25, besides the fact that the woman says she overheard them say this, but they have video evidence that Donald Trump and Marco Rubio retweeted of them in U.S. custody. The president of El Salvador said that they're here because the American government asked them to be here. The American government is paying for them to be here. What does that mean? That means that the American government needs to send those people back. They admitted 172 weren't criminal. There were women on board. There was a Nicaraguan on board. Clearly, those people shouldn't be still at the prison. They shouldn't order them to return those people back. And it is even worse, not just that. What the kicker is. You know I'm going to tell you the kicker is. The kicker is that Donald Trump said that he didn't sign the act. Someone in the interview, he said the following when he threw Marco Rubio on the bus. Donald Trump, according to CNN, said, "I don't know when it was signed because I didn't sign it. Other people handled it. But Secretary of State Rubio has done a great job and he wanted them out and we go along with that." He threw Marco Rubio under the bus. So he says that I didn't even sign this. So if he didn't sign it, then why are they still there? That means he didn't sign it. So they're there pursuant to an act that Donald Trump did not sign and is denying that signed it. Besides the fact that there are 172 people with non-criminal, like I mentioned in previous videos, to be in the United States unauthorized without papers is a civil crime. It's not a criminal crime. It's not something. It's definitely not military. They put them on a military plane. It's not military. It's not criminal. You bring your paperwork. You have a judge. You have a hearing. If it's determined your asylum application is denied, or you're not supposed to be here, or you overstayed your process or whatever like that, then you get deported. And they say you can self-deport, or we can get you a ticket and you can leave. But at no point are you in jail. So you have 172 people, non-criminal, paperwork, immigration infractions that they sent to an El Salvadoran torture camp. And they're still there. Your Honor, tell them to bring those people back. Please, Judge Boasberg, bring those people back. They're playing in your face. And now it's on public record. And now that I've did this video, now more people know. Share this video widely so other people know of the fugazi, lawless, crazy, Gestapo, unlawful, unconstitutional crap that this administration is doing. Let everybody know about that. And there's a second thing. The second one really quick. The second one is Judge Ted Chang said in his declaration, USAID dismantling was unconstitutional, unlawful, most likely. Rewind everything, hire all those people back, put the sign back on, return the funding, and anyone with Doge who had fingerprints on it, get off. You can't be on it. So then the Trump administration asked for clarification because they wanted this guy named Jeremy Lowen to continue as a USAID. They said he is a USAID employee, so he shouldn't qualify. Could you update your order to make sure that Jeremy Lowen can continue his job? Jeremy Lowen did his declaration and said, "Yeah, I'm Jeremy Lowen. I never worked for Elon Musk. I'm a USAID employee." No. Marco Rubio, which Jeremy Lowen says in his declaration, assigned me his job on March 18th and said, "I'm deputy now," and gave me his duties. Because remember, when they dismantled USAID, they said that Marco Rubio is now in charge of USAID. So Marco Rubio, how you gonna be charge of whatever? They made him charge of the National Archives. Every time they dismantle something, they'd say Marco Rubio is now the acting director of the National Archives. He's the acting USAID. He's on the board of the Kennedy Center, So March 18th, he says this guy is USAID employee. He's not Doge. Meanwhile, in Jeremy Levin's declaration, he says, "I was the Doge." What is he? I was the Doge person in charge, the Doge lead at USAID. But I worked in private sector and I've been working in the government. They made me the Doge lead at AID, but I'm not really Doge. And the judge was like, "Did I stutter?" I say, "Anybody who did anything related to Doge." So you were acting out and carrying out Doge activities as the Doge team. Did I stutter? The order said anybody who was connected to Doge, the Doge lead, Doge, you guys are part of dismantling it. You carried out orders. You dismantled it. Whether you were the Doge team lead. Now that Marco Rubio said you the ASAID deputy, whatever, director, doesn't mean you are I'm supposed to ignore all the stuff you did when you were part of the Doge team lead. What? They appealed that decision to say they're trying to keep Jeremy Lowen in there. It doesn't make sense. Does it make sense, you guys? Is it me? Anyway, follow me at JJ Legal. I've updated my Outlasting47.com tracker, and I'm going to do a video after this one just walking you through the new updates. So I try to put it in categories. So this allows you to keep track on your own of the cases. See how I'm bringing these updates? You can track them yourselves. So you'll hit the blue hyperlink, and that'll take you to one of the trackers that I use here to give you this news. And I have a case tracker inside, and then there's a bingo. So as Donald Trump's cabinet picks are confirmed, I'm updating it. It's some other site, but I'm linking it for you there. The only person that he has not been confirmed is Matt Gaetz, because the GOP is complicit in all of this lawlessness, and they confirmed every single one, even the unqualified one, like Pete Hegseth, who recently text messaged a lawyer accidentally, plans, butter emails. But DEI. Pete Hegseth, who's anti-DEI, doing this nonsense. So the GOP greenlit all of this. And so you can't trust them. But anyway. So in a nutshell, he said, I outlasting47.com, you can track all these things. You can see the bingo. So after they all confirmed, then the bingo will shift to when they get like fired or removed or resign. Just gamification of one way to make fun, have some fun during a horrible time. And it's a great way for you to support me. I only charge $7.99 for it, and I'm going to update it. So whether you get it when this video publishes or after, you'll get the updates to it. And each time I update it, I send it to everyone who's already purchased it. So, and then if you're a member of my paid membership community, you get this tracker as part of it as well. So whether on TikTok, on YouTube, or on Substack or Patreon, you get the tracker as part of like supporting me here. And I may do a subscription on Instagram as well, so I'm thinking about doing that as well, and you get that. So those are two ways that you can support me. I also have coming out, I sell templates for families and for creators, so I'm going to do a couple of videos promoting those. So if you want them, if they're beneficial for you, you can get those as well. And yeah, I'm going to promote those as well. So those are two ways you can support me here. But yeah, isn't this the drama? It's like someone called it Real Housewives of the United States government. And this is why we didn't want him. Like, I mean, this is interesting and kind of like not exciting. I want to say that this is like interesting, entertaining for one thing. It's for all its worse. It's entertaining. So it's entertaining, but I think I prefer peace. I don't want chaos. I want peace. So this is why we didn't want him to be president, because we knew every single day is going to be chaos. It's going to be destruction. And this is why he shouldn't be president. Whew. Anyway, so yeah, outlasting47.com. Follow me, JJ Legal, on all socials. Look for my next video when I go break down outlasting47.com. And yeah, and share this video widely. Like I said, other people need to know of this nonsense. It's insane. It's like literally insane. Oh my God. All right, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm put a playlist here. If you're watching us on TikTok, I have playlists, and at some point I might organize my Instagram into playlists too.